Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Scarlets Fever with me, Lee G. Joining me, as always, my co-hosts, Hugh the Cap. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it Hugh Flatcap. Yeah, Hugh Flatcap and Big M. How are we, gentlemen?
I'm good. I've got my nickname to live up to, so I brought out the flat cap number one, especially for you.
Yeah, I'm all right, boys. I'm still here, alive and kicking, and back hopefully for more than 1 week this time.
It's always the cheery one, isn't he?
I got a smile on my face. That's enough, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes me wonder why, Matt. Makes me wonder what's going on, man.
Well, you can't see below here, so you can know.
That's the bit I'm worried about. Well, Hugh, for those not watching on YouTube, I mean, that's a pretty natty cap that you got there, mate. How many have you got in total?
This is an old one. It was someone else's before mine. I've got 3 in total. I got this one. I got a blue one, which was bought in Dublin, which is from a collection called the Quiet Man Collection, which is a John Wayne film. Some people might know about when John Wayne went to Galway. Oh no, so I didn't buy it in Galway. I did buy it in Dublin. I bought it in Galway. Anyway, that's that one. And then I've got my Scarlets one. But if people want to send me another one, I'll take it.
I used to have loads. I was brought up on a farm, so I had like proper ones that were like half eaten by a cow and stuff. So yeah, they were proper old style ones. And my granddad used to have a fishing one that we used to go fly fishing, and he'd put his flies in the hat, and then forget that they were there, and he'd always be like catching his bloody fingers in these flies in his ears. Stupid stuff.
Hey.
Yeah. That's what they do. There's fly fishermen. They used to put them in the bloody air. Idiots, if you ask me. But there we go. Anyway, so how's your week been, gents? Hugh, what you been up to, man?
So yeah, I missed a load of rugby this week because I was at a wedding, but I was at a wedding of someone who might be of interest to our listeners. So I was at the wedding of my girlfriend's cousin. My girlfriend's cousin is a rugby league player by the name of Mike Butt, who plays wing for Wales Rugby League.
Oh, and
so
Mike Butt.
I guess that's a good name, all right. But that's a good name for a Welsh winger as well. That is.
He didn't. I don't think he's one of those who didn't know he was Welsh until he was capped by Wales. He's got a teammate who I think scouted him and said, "You got a Welsh bit in you, haven't you?" Like, oh yeah, okay. And he mentioned it to the Welsh coach, and the Welsh going, "Oh really?" And then called him up. But yeah, Mike married Rach at the weekend. It was a fantastic do. It was very fancy in a big fancy barn, and the meal was lovely, and the whole ceremony was fantastic as well. Very modern, very warm. Everyone there was very friendly. So congratulations to those two. And yeah, I spent my weekend hanging out with a Welsh international rugby player.
But did they have a screen on so you could watch the Rugby World Cup?
No, because it was rugby league lot, wasn't it?
They
don't want to know.
Did you not have your phone on under the table?
I had multiple people messaging me what the scores were.
That'll be well. That kind of leads into my dilemma rather than an event this week. So I've mentioned it before, but it's starting to get a bit heated now. So when I went in for the op, that was our wedding anniversary. So obviously, you are
perfect timing.
Yeah. It's literally I had my operation on the day of our wedding anniversary. 22 years. What year is it? Yeah, 22 years it would have been. So, and I booked the weekend away and all this kind of stuff. So when I was coming round, and I was full of all sorts of crazy stuff. So we started like, okay, I'll be back better. Let's set a date. Give me a target, so I'll be better by a certain date, and then, I've got something to work towards, and then we'll book a hotel. We'll rebook the hotel, and right. And we're only going to Cardiff. But we're going to Cardiff on October the 20th, and I didn't twig at the time. High as a kite. Right, yes, love. I'm just happy to still be alive. Fantastic. Let's go. I couldn't walk. I couldn't get out of bed at that time. I couldn't do anything. She could have said, let's go to Dubai for Christmas. I'd have gone, yes, dear. That's fine. Let's do that. So anyway, given the way Wales are playing at the minute, we may end up playing Argentina or Japan in the quarterfinal, which will mean that we will be in semi-final 1 on the Friday night. And on the Friday night, I'm picking my wife up from work at about 6:30, and then we are heading to Cardiff, which is about an hour and a half drive, and kickoff is at 8 o'clock. Now that's not the bad bit. The bad bit is that every time I say, "Oh, might be a semi-final to watch that weekend," we're past the bit now where she argues back, and I just get a stare. I just get a. Well, you know, you might want an early night. It'll be tired. We'll grab a pizza or. And it's like, this is our anniversary weekend away. This is our romantic weekend. Just the two of us. No kids, no dogs, no nothing. Just. But it's a semi-final. It's just so. Yeah, if anybody's listening who's mates with my wife, if you could put a good word in for me, that would be really good, because I'm struggling. I got no argument to go back with at all. Nothing.
Well, instead of going to Cardiff, you could take it to South Africa and catch a Scarlets and Bulls game on the Sunday.
Yeah, I haven't told her that I'm watching that game on. Oh, Jesus, it gets worse, doesn't it? Oh, my Lord. While we're on about URC, are you guys staying with Viaplay, or are you going over to URC TV?
I've still got Viaplay paid for, so I'm sticking with it.
I'm undecided. I mean, there's just so many of our games are on free to air. I think there's like only a handful that are not. So I'll probably end up going with URC just for the odd couple ones.
I've got a responsibility to know what happens now, so I've got to watch like multiple games.
Yeah, you've got to watch like everything, haven't you? You've got to watch every game from every championship around the world now. I
was thinking that this morning. I might have to reconsider how I do that, because I don't think I can.
I thought you were only watching below the first tier for every country.
The rest of them aren't even on TV. I have to find them from like God knows where. Flash Score, sponsor me. Anyway.
See, you're in the same boat that I am. You go like, you know what you want to do. You know that rugby's there, but then you've also got to find a way of explaining it to your other half in a way that she'll go, okay, that's fine, dear. You carry on.
Are you having the Rugby Strictly battle in your house? I suppose, Lee, you like Strictly, don't you? Because you're a dancer.
Yeah, it's a difficult time of year, because something's got to be on the handheld screen and something's got to be on the television screen on the wall, and we kind of got to go between the two. So,
this is where ITVX being terrible comes in to save the day, because you can watch Strictly on iPlayer, but I am not using ITVX. So yeah, it's just like I can't. You're gonna have to. I'm not, and like fair enough.
Yeah.
She's like, I won't make you use ITVX.
ITVX is shocking. It's really, really poor. And if you're ever trying to binge watch something on ITVX, I just give up. Yeah, not even close to being where it needs to be. Anyway, Cardiff Scarlets last weekend. Let's actually talk some rugby. Cardiff Scarlets. So unfortunately, none of us actually made it. But I literally just before we did this, when I did my Cardiff pod, and both of the guys on my Cardiff pod, they were both there. They were actually quite complimentary about Scarlets. I think they were more shocked that Cardiff actually turned up and played a decent game. They just, nobody in Cardiff was expecting a decent game out of Cardiff, given what's gone on off season. So they were quite shocked and happy that somebody threw into a line out and it went in straight, and a Cardiff player caught the ball. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, they were happy. Yeah. I mean, that's all you need to do to keep Cardiff supporters happy. The result was incidental. The fact was somebody threw the ball into a line out and it went okay. So yeah, I mean, from a Scarlets point of view, that they were saying there were just so many changes, particularly second half, people going on and off and all sorts of stuff like that, that it was hard to really say who had a good game and who didn't. But yeah, I think it was a pre-season. I think that's pretty much the gist from everyone. It was a pre-season. Have you guys heard anything else, Matt? Have you got anything to add?
It is what it is. You know, pre-season. You know, do 28 players on the pitch for the whole game, so it's going to be a mess. There's no continuity, nowhere. We're just trying out new combinations where we can. The only thing that I'd like to pick up on is something that didn't happen in that game, is that we haven't seen our new Scottish lock yet. So, you know, Alex Craig, I don't know where he is. I've been told he's not on the rack. So I'm really hoping that we get to see him some point really soon.
Well, you'd have thought this weekend would be the ideal time, but it seems odd that everybody else gets a run out and he doesn't it?
Yeah, well, word is he got a niggle, but you know, how many players play with a niggle? I mean, everyone had a niggle. You know, so what is the actual problem? We know we had problems with Gloucester over the last couple of years. So, you know, we've had problems in the past signing players who were half crocked and then fully crocked when they came over to us. So I'm just hoping he's not going to be another one of them.
Yeah. Hugh, what have you heard about the game, mate? Have you heard anything positive or negative or?
Not tons. I mean, obviously we've all seen the Theo Cabango try on Twitter. Someone tackle him next time, lads. You know, he ran right past you.
The clue is he's not in a red shirt. If he's not in a red shirt and he's got a ball, tackle him.
A lot of people are really excited about Cardiff's jersey this year. It doesn't do it for me, I have to say. Anyway, no, I haven't heard too much about it. I said last week on the pod that I wanted to see a proper Scarlets side, and we didn't get one. We got the experienced side. I think we were just showing off to Cardiff that we have a B team, whereas they obviously don't. I think that was a bit of a flex from Dwayne, just like, oh, I'm just gonna put my spare team out, you know, just really rubbing it in.
Obviously, going to on the tight there, didn't it?
Yeah, obviously saw Scott Williams play for the first time since New Year's Day. So, however his performance went, will come a bit of slack, I think. It was good to see him back because a lot of us were a bit wondering, because I don't think he wasn't mentioned in the levers, but then we hadn't seen him in any pics or anything from training or anything. So it's good to see him back. Charlie Titcombe got his debut, so it'll be interesting to see if we see him in the senior team this season. I'm on the Scarlets website reading the match report for it. I like it when websites try to put more stats on. Obviously, I'm a stats person. A lot of websites and outlets go at it with the best intentions and then kind of forget about them. The URC website was pretty bad for this last season. The World Cup website, if you search the individual stats of players at the World Cup, they have the website and they got all the stuff, but they haven't updated it since game 1. And we're on game week 5.
Yeah.
This one. So that's not good. Meanwhile, the Scarlets, it's like great intent, and someone's obviously had a go. It's got all Cardiff scorers and conversions. Scarlets, 2 tries, no conversions, but we somehow scored 12 points. It does say further down on the match report that Charlie Titcombe kicked a conversion, but yeah, according to the little readout at the side, we had no conversions. And also, Lee, are you on our spreadsheet right now?
No, not at the minute. No.
I'm going to paste an image in there, right, for you to have a look at. So they've got a little like head-to-head stats thing, and they got they got the. It's like a bar chart goes in each direction. You'll have all seen them on like BBC Sport app and that. It's got the Scarlets stats in red, which is obviously our colour, and then they've got the Scarlet stats in white. Well, okay, it's on a white background, so you can't see our bar on the bar chart. You can't see it. It's not there. So,
But
you know, Scarlets, thank you for trying.
the bit I like on reports like that is where they do the stat where they'll do like Cardiff versus Scarlets, so Cardiff have won 21, Scarlets have won 20 or whatever. And then underneath they'll go lost. Scarlets. And you go, what the fuck's the point of that? It's just,
That's exactly what is on this Scarlets website. That is
It's
exactly
always
what
there.
It's got wins 19 to Cardiff, 27 to Scarlets. Losses 27 to Cardiff, 19 to Scarlets. Draws 0. I'm sure we've drawn with them. Anyway, never mind.
No, not with them. Yeah,
but it is a palindromic score though, 21-12, so that's nice.
Yeah, that's what I think Harley said that the other night as well. It's just one of those things. Yeah, so I mean, what do we take out of that game? Do we take anything out of that game at
We've
all?
got 28 players.
That's
literally it.
Not bad.
Well, we've got 29 because there's one that we can't find. There's one who's lost on the M4 somewhere that's going, I can't find the club, boys. She's not shown up yet.
What accent was that?
I don't know. It was one. So
no,
yeah,
I think we got 33 players altogether, but we've seen 28 so far. It was 33 at my last count. So we still got 5 boys to come. They're probably all injured, knowing our luck.
So, but what can we take out of that game? What are you going to take out of that game, Mark?
No injuries. I'll take that. No,
yeah, I suppose that's a good point,
out.
actually. Yeah, that's not getting injured is a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone had a run out. I mean, it's not much of a pre-season. You know, a ceremonial game against the Barbars and then 2 little regional friendlies. It's not a pre-season. I don't know how anyone can expect to form anything going into a league season with these. So it is literally boys have had some game time and no one's been cropped. So that's about it. I haven't seen any new combinations that I was excited by in that game other than Wyn Jones on the tight head. I like the look of him on tight head. You know,
really?
He's got the body type for it.
A prop is a prop to me. They're the big ones that stand at the front and don't do much. I mean, come on.
Maybe he's from the Caleb Clark, Joe Singer school of rugby player, where if you look like your position, you probably are that position, even if you're rubbish. But you look right.
You look good at the prop. No, I've heard a couple of people say about him switching, but being able to switch heads, you know, on either side of the scrum is that looks more useful in a season where it's going to be difficult to keep a full set of props.
Yeah, I miss it's a weird one as well. I mean, it's a lot easier to move from the tight to the loose. So I know that, you know, Wyn has done it. I know we had reports earlier in the summer that Kenzie Matthias is able to play on the tight as well. But it's not a common one, you know, loose heads moving over to tight. It's normally the way around because you get a bit of help on the loose with your hooker.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Hugh, what else can we take out of that game? I mean, no injuries, Wyn Jones. For me, we'd pretty much forgotten that we'd signed. What's this? Is it Titcombe from
Titcombe? Yeah.
Titcombe, yeah. We'd pretty much forgotten that we'd signed him because all the fuss was about Ioan Lloyd. So in that kind of respect, it was quite nice to see some of those other players out on the pitch.
Yeah, I think him and Leatherbarrow are both listed as academy on the website. I don't know. I'm sorry for being unexcited by it, but by all accounts, we're going to be playing Cardiff behind closed doors every other week. What with the new training set up between the regions now, because we haven't got enough players to train properly, and they haven't especially. I don't know. Like I said, I wanted to see a strong team out when we put a development team out, and the fact is we're probably not going to see many of these players very much this season. So it's difficult to take much from it. Yeah, I can't draw conclusions from how this team did compared to how we're going to be in the URC, because this team isn't going to play in the URC. So It looks like we didn't go for goal all the time like the cowardly Dragons did at the weekend.
Oh, he's on that side of the fence.
I'm just winding people up. I don't care.
So when the Dragons played the Ospreys last weekend in a pre-season friendly with nothing on the game at all other than let's have a bit of a run out, Dragons kicked 2 penalties for 6 points and then beat the Ospreys by 1 point, and the Ospreys are absolutely livid with it. Well, supporters were absolutely livid. 1, because they'd lost to the Dragons, and 2, because they'd lost to the Dragons by kicks at goal in a pre-season friendly. So, yeah, make of that what you will. I mean, I just said on one of the other pods that if you're in a pre-season friendly, so this Friday, it's 79 minutes on the clock, it's 30 points all, and we get a penalty on the 22 right in front of the sticks. What do you do? Are you kicking or are you going for the corner? Matt, what are you doing?
Tap and go.
Scrum down, please, Red. I'll have a scrum down there, please. Okay, Hugh, a sensible answer?
What's the scenario again? So
79 minutes, it's 30 points all, and we get a penalty on the 22 right in front of the sticks, but it's a pre-season friendly. Do you kick for the corner? Do you tap and go? Do you take a scrum? Or do you kick for the points and go, hey, we've got to win? Yeah.
Take the points.
Ooh.
79 minutes. I'm sorry, I'm just reading. I'm sorry to go on about the stats page again. I'm extremely confused about who scored our second try, because the little scoreboard on the side says Tom Rogers, but the match report says Kieran Hardy outstrips the covering defence to score.
Yeah, Lewis Morgan and Kieran Hardy scored for us.
Right, okay.
Hugh's just gone down a rabbit hole.
Scarlets, do you want me to do this for you? I'll do them for you.
Just look at his face. He found himself up.
It's like Tonga. Tonga haven't got a Twitter account, so no one knows what their team is and who's playing for them. So I'm like, Tonga, do you want me to do your Twitter? I'll do your Twitter. Like, for goodness sake. Anyway, get distracted.
Hugh's going to teach himself how to hack websites so he can hack into the Scarlets website and do a decent job of their social media and their stats. So yeah, good on you.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, crack on, buddy. We'll support you on that one. So Dragons visit this week. So the way friendlies or pre-seasons have gone so far is you send slightly weakened sides to the away game, and you put out a pretty much full strength home team, and the home team should reasonably win that. That's kind of how it's looking to me from what it's going, some of the things that people have been saying. So if we're going to put out a full strength side, let's assume we're going to put out a full strength side against the Dragons. Well, 1, is that what you want to see? And 2, who do you want to see? Do you want to see a full strength side? And if so, who's your full strength side against the Dragons? Who wants to go first?
Go on then. Being as though Hugh's being quiet, he's still looking at the stats on the Scarlet site. Yeah, I think this is our last pre-season game, as I've already mentioned. If you can call it pre-season, you've got to build for that first game. So yeah, we've got to go full strength, and it's simple enough. We know what boys we don't have, because of the World Cup. I have got my fingers really, really tightly crossed that we get Sam Lowsey for the opening game, but I'm probably lost on that one. But no, Wynn's had a lot of conditioning issues, especially from what we've been told by Wales and media, etc. So he had a run out last week, so he's got to come straight back in again. Hooker, we don't have much choice. It's literally Lewis Morgan and Sean Evans. That's all we've got. Tight head, Sam Wainwright, Harry O'Connor. There are only 2 options at the minute. I know we've got some young under-20 internationals in our ranks, but we're not going to be playing them in a game like this. Second row, I want to see Alex Craig. I really want to see him.
Just because
I've
you
got
don't know, you don't know what he looks like.
No, well, I could have a look on the Scarlets website, but it'd probably just show me some numbers instead of his face.
There you go. You
think
can't
he-
see
I
because
think
of
he-
his back. That's
I think
kind of what
just
he looks like
like
there.
a prop, a lock rather. I met a guy. There's a guy at my work who's a lock, and it's literally just like, is he 6'6"? Oh, okay, probably a lock then. Yeah, like locks are very generic looking.
Yeah,
I'd agree
they're
with
all the
that.
same. They're just tall. They're as tall as they are wide. That's what you need for a lock. Nah. It's. I think our squad more or less picks itself. I mean, you can run through everyone. We got Morgan Jones and Jack Price. They're really the next off the conveyor belt then for lock. Back row, I know we're missing Josh McLeod. I'm really hoping to see him soon. But I've heard Cardiff is probably the earliest we'll see him. So what are we looking at? Got Dan Davis, Ewan Shenton, and Tua Piloto. That's probably the strongest back row we can put out. Oh, Plumtree, new boy, forgot Plumtree. So Shenton to the bench. There we go. Thank you, Hugh. You've got me on that one. Kieran Hardy and Archie Hughes. Archie picked up a knock against the Barbars, so I'm hoping he's back. And then it's really monotonous naming the side at this time of year because we don't have form. We're missing 6 pretty much nailed on 15, 23 players. So who we got at 10? And we got Johan Lloyd, Dan Jones, and Charlie Titcombe. We know what Dinky can do. So I think I'd like to see more Johan Lloyd. And I've been attacked by a Tibbler. I've been attacked. I'm really sorry.
So
no,
I'm having a look on the Scarlets website now as well. Yeah. And Ewan Shenton isn't on there. Shenton isn't
in academy.
How
We
can
got a
he be
different page for
academy?
academy.
Yeah, how can he be academy? He's
Senior academy for 23 after 23 years old, I think it is.
Well, he left university 2 years ago.
Yeah,
So,
21.
Yeah, I had him down as a more than capable of playing senior rugby. But yeah, blimey. So that's a bonus in a way.
I've used this squad bit on the Scarlets website before. It's another bit that doesn't work very well. Like they got. Yeah, it doesn't work.
So what about Foxy then? Because we haven't seen Foxy so far, have we? Or did we see him?
Yeah,
no, played the Barbars, didn't he?
Oh, right. Yeah. So would you bring him? But I put him on at least half a game against the Dragons just because like I say, he's going to play a big role this year. There's no ifs and buts about is he going to be selected for Wales or anything like that, like it was last year. It's all about this is what you can do for the Scarlets now, and he's got a massive Scarlet heart. So, I'm expecting quite a big season from Foxy this year.
Yeah, my issue for Foxy is where are we playing him? Because if Joe Roberts is fit, he's out 13. Foxy's not going to displace him now. As great as Foxy has been in the past, he's not the player he was on that New Zealand tour with the Lions. So is he going to stay at 13 or is he going to move to 12? We know how fragile Johnny Williams has been. So, is it effectively be between him, Scott Williams, and the young Eddie James for 12 then? So that's my question. And we'd probably use Johan Nicholas as our backup 13, who... All right, he's not set in the world of light, but he's a solid player and he's amassed quite a lot of Scarlet caps considering his age.
Yeah. So Hugh, would you throw Foxy in for this weekend?
Yeah, I think you got to. I think he's got to be our 12. Obviously, his pace is nowhere near what it was. I think ever since 2019, he's not really. He got injured in the game against Fiji, didn't he? And I don't think he's ever really come back from that, sadly. But yeah, I would put him at 12, and then I guess it would have to be Johan Nicholas at 13, wouldn't it? I think he's our only other option, I believe, unless you guys are going to tell me I'm wrong.
Is Joe Roberts fit?
I thought his ankle was done.
Yeah, from what I know, Joe Roberts, when he wasn't selected for Wales, he had an operation for something that he was putting off.
Right.
He's very much like Josh McLeod. Cardiff is supposed to be the target game. There's an outside chance for South Africa, but Cardiff is the target.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. I'll shut up.
Is Eddie James an inside or an outside centre? I've got in my head he's an inside.
Inside, yeah.
Inside, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Mm.
I suppose the other option for inside centre might be, well, I say option. Bristol played Johan Lloyd at inside centre. I personally wouldn't do that. I think if he's going to play anywhere that's not number 10, I'd play him at fullback. And I think I can see him and Sam combining that way this season. But apart from that, I mostly agree with, well, I think I completely agree with Martin's team. Fullback, do you go back three? I suppose is interesting. I'd go Conbeer, McNichol and Rogers, and then it's a question of which way around you play McNichol and Rogers.
Yeah, I go completely different because we know what McNichol offers, and we need to plan now. And we know Rogers is the incumbent, but he needs more game time there. So I'd be going Conbeer, Rogers, and Tommy Lewis, and have McNichol coming on in the second half because I really want to see Tommy Lewis because he had a massive jersey. God rest their souls, you know. I want to see what he can do in a scarlet colour now. We've seen him on the Severn circuit. We've seen him with jersey. Let's see him in scarlet.
Well, again, purely based off nothing more than the website, I want to see Steph Evans because Steph Evans has got a tash on the website. I mean, he sorted out his hair.
Let's not go down the Will Withdrawn route again. Come on. You hated those handlebars.
I mean, the hair is significantly improved on last season. I'll give the boy that a massive, massive improvement. But I mean, the tash it's neither here. It's a feeble effort as a tash. Yeah, it's not big and bushy. It's not twisty. It's not fine and tiny. And it's just the tash. It's got no handlebars, it's got no connection. So, it's a start. It's a starting point as a facial decoration. But
from that angle of the photo, you cannot say for sure that he hasn't got a mullet.
Oh, please don't do this. You didn't have him last year, please, but
that mullet was awful. When he did the half mullet, that was worse. But from the photo, he does look like he's bulked up top. Either that or he's wearing shoulder pads for the photographs, but he definitely looks like he's put a bit of bulk on top, which will be interesting to see. But I like Steph Evans on the pitch. I think he just creates chaos,
Yeah, and speaking of Steph Evans, going back to just now, he played a fair bit of 13 last year, so maybe that's...
Oh, no more of that.
He was actually right. Yeah, he was actually okay, mate. He surprised a lot of people at 13. Mainly the opposition, but he surprised a lot of people. You go, yoo-hoo, I'm down here. But no, I thought he played all right. I
haven't had my Steph Evans rant since I've been on this podcast.
Is that a positive rant or a negative rant?
I'll save it for a game where he's... Yes, Martin, it's a positive rant. I'll save it for a game where he actually plays in. I will say that Tom Rogers has got the best blue steel of all of the mugshots on the website.
Blue steel. Okay.
Ben Stiller, mate.
Zoolander.
Yeah. It's you kids talking.
That's from the early 2000s, Lee. That was when you hit your 40s.
I was busy then, mate. I was having kids and doing productive stuff, But yeah. Anyway, who are we talking about? Who's got the best one?
Tom Rogers.
Tom Rogers.
Second from bottom on the right.
Okay. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, the smouldering eyes look, the I'm coming to get you look. Yeah, he looks like
the jaw. Good jaw.
Yeah, he looks like he needs a poo. Really. That's
come on.
He's to go. Can you hurry up, boys? Because I need to go.
This has gone sour so fast.
Anyway, What are we expecting from the game on Friday? It is Friday, isn't it? It's a Friday game this week.
Yeah,
It's
well,
the national-
personally, I'm expecting to see a lot more Scarlets than Dragons because, they've got about 20 in their squad. So, yeah, that's about it. I'd hope for a comfortable win, a bit of effort and a line-out that works, especially with Vandenberg on board now. I want our line-out to work.
Well, from what I've seen from Sean so far, a hooker, I know we were kind of blessed last season with the amount of decent hookers that we have, but he looks like the real deal. Do you know what I mean? He's not hanging around to be third hooker behind Elias and Sheriff. You boys can wait, and he's one of the boys that's definitely stepping up as taking the pre-seasons to kind of set his stall out for the season.
Yeah. Where hooker's concerned, I like Sean Evans, but he's not my style of hooker. He's, he is a converted back rower, so you get what you get. He's nippy. He works so hard in the rucks, and that is when we haven't got a proper open side. That work is absolutely amazing. It helps us so much. When him and Dan Davis are both on the pitch at the same time, it's marvelous to watch. The opposition just can't do nothing. They just both in there. Every other ruck, they just slowing it down. It just makes it so good to watch. But at hooker, we've got Sheriff's injured, so really sorry, Ken, but I'm not including you in this. Elias is with Wales, and he's the starting hooker, so I'm not expecting him for a while. So then we've got Sean, Lewis Morgan, another young boy called Isaac Young, and then just below them we've got Harry Thomas, who was in his first season of senior rugby, and he's playing outstanding for Llandovery. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see him shoot up into our team at some point this season. It probably is too early. I mean, the boy is literally 18, but the way he's playing, I would not be surprised to see him in and around our squad.
Be interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of that this year. There's going to be a lot of young players coming in, and call it which way you want it, but it's either given a shot or thrown in at the deep end through injuries and what have you. So yeah, going to be interesting. So let's have a couple of score predictions then. Mark, what have you got for score predictions for Dragons? Don't forget, there's still a little bit of niggle between us and the Dragons after the New Year's Day fixture with Carmarthen and Moriarty, neither of whom are with their clubs, but
Well, Moriarty's gone, so I think we can go back to, being nice to the Dragons. They're our second favourite Welsh team. There is no third or fourth favourite. Let's just leave it at that. No, I think knowing that the Dragons are going to want to kick lots of penalties, as they do, I'll go for a scoreline, something like 33-18. They don't get a single try. They're going to try to kick us to death.
Yeah, rumors that George Ford has signed for the Dragons on a 1-week loan. Not confirmed.
3-hour loan, wasn't
I don't know. Yeah, 3-hour loan. Just like you finished against tomorrow, just gonna pop back, lads. Just
I'll be back in a mo.
Yeah. 35-21 to the Scarlets. 7 tries to 5.
7 tries to 5.
Yeah, you're not backing our boot, are you?
See, I have to throw this in because it's really relevant. Weather forecast. So let me just check. Yeah, actually, the forecast of Friday is clear.
Isn't it mad? It was still in pre-season in October.
It is a bit odd. By now, there's usually half of them going, I should have played table tennis where it was warm and cozy. And
if we're not careful, it'll be midwinter enough for the Ospreys to win some games with their 10-man rugby.
I can't wait for the season to start, and Hugh's actually got stats in front of him from the game, and he'll have half of them about how good the Scarlets were, and then another half saying how shit the Ospreys were. No matter who they were playing, it should just be, this is how good we were, and this is how poor you were. So go away. That'd be great. Yeah, I'm. The weather forecast is looking good. It's going to be drying up. We're going into a sunny weekend. Yeah, so we're there for the running rugby. I think that they've had a bit of a talking to this week about attitude and expectations and setting our stall out. And I think the Dragons are going to catch the wrong end of that on Saturday. So yeah, I'm thinking a fairly decent big first half. Will be 30-10 at the end of the first half, and then everything will change in the second half, and we'll be 40-12, 40-13 by the end. Oh no, so 3 penalties, so that'll be 9. So we'll be 30 points to 9 at the end of the first half, and we'll be 40-12 at the end of the second, because they'll slot another penalty. They're on 79 minutes. I got to sit there and talk to my boys from the Dragons podcast as well tomorrow, boys. So.
Oh, we're going to be listening now and making sure you come up with the exact same prediction.
No, I'm not actually on the Dragons one. The Dragons one is JV. I just make sure that they're comfy. So, yeah. Okay. So before we venture south to France and have a look at what's going on there, let's venture further west from Llandovery and have a look at Llandovery and Carmarthen. Let's not start on where east and west is on this one, boys. Okay, let's just go with, how did Llandovery do last week? Because Llandovery beat Cardiff, didn't they? On Thursday night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a cracking game. S4C Click showed it live, so very thankful to see some Welsh Premiership rugby on TV. And it was a really good game. It was really, really tight till around the 60th minute, and then the floodgates opened. And, the scoreline really didn't reflect, 31 points to 12 to Llandovery. It really deserved to be a lot closer than that. But Llandovery controlled the majority of the game, even though they didn't actually go ahead until the second half. They just seemed composed, very comfortable. The game wasn't getting away from them. They were just going through their gears as such. They were just letting Cardiff do what they wanted. And, it could have easily been a lot more, because I'm really not sure what happened at the end of that match. But, handling errors, and Cardiff just folded. This isn't the Rags that we've seen for the last 2 years. I don't know what's happened.
Do you care? Do you care what happened to Cardiff?
Well, it's not Cardiff, is it? It's the Rags. It's not Cardiff rugby. Anything below professional, I'll care for the whole game as a whole. So it's disappointing to see a team that was, runners up in the league last season, champions the year before, and they've lost 3 of their first 4 games. No, sorry, lost 2, drawn 1. So it's quite disheartening, and not much has actually changed in their squad. They've still got a core of the boys they had last season. So I don't know if it's a fact of, Cardiff rugby have had to take their coaches because they haven't got any other choice, and they've just left with nothing. But it's disheartening to see the Rags like that. But it's great to see the Drovers, 4 wins from 4. Hill was rather disappointed that he didn't get a bonus point. He had a tear in his eye on Thursday night, if I can remember correctly.
19 points they're on now. Should have been on 20. Unbelievable.
Well, to put it into context, I mean, obviously Llandovery top, Cardiff are now 5th from bottom, which, like you say, for a side
that makes it sound bad. It's a 13-team league, so 5th from bottom isn't so bad.
Well, when they're that close to the bottom, you go from the bottom up rather than from the top down. They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're 9th from top.
Yeah,
put it that way. So they're in 9th position. But
what's happening to RGC? RGC rock bottom, no wins, no points. Oh dear, oh dear.
They haven't played much, have they? I think they've only played the 2 games.
3.
3.
Yeah, 3
Oh,
now. Yeah.
well, that doesn't help.
Yeah.
Well, maybe their scrum half was carrying them last season, and now he's gone on to bigger and better things.
Yeah,
with us.
11 tries. It's a hefty load when you think about it in a long season.
It is. Exactly.
So the other game of interest then was on Saturday, which was when Carmarthen took a short stroll up the M4 to Pontypool. And they lost 45-21, which, I mean, 21 is a good score against Pontypool. Don't get me wrong, because Ponty came up with a bit of guts and a bit of fire, and they were awesome last year, which is kind of weird because Pontypool came up with Neath, and Pontypool is sitting in 3rd, and Neath are 2nd from bottom, or 12th from top. But Neath and Ponty last year were toe to toe all the way through the season, you know. So something's gone wrong again at Neath, definitely, you know.
I'm not sure on that count. I just think Pontypool were a level above Neath last year, and I think that level just become a lot more clear now the opposition's better. Neath have been, they've had such a downturn over the last 10, 15 years. I mean, they went from they won like 5 or 6 league titles, back to back. And I know they had all the financial issues, etc., etc. But it's the same with the Rag to me. It's hard to see a team do this. Like I'm looking down the lower leagues, and I'm seeing a team like Trim Saran, who was so close to promotion last year, and they're absolutely struggling this season. And my heart feels for all of them. I don't like seeing this happen to teams. So for Beneath to go, I think they only lost 3 games the whole of last season, and I think they've already done that now within the first 4 weeks. It's hard going, and it's hard to watch and follow as well, because no one likes seeing teams getting beat every week.
Well, speaking of getting beaten every week, Carmarthen Quins. That's 45. I'm joking. I think
it's saying that. Who's the only game Carmarthen Quins have won?
Neath, yeah.
Neath.
And they absolutely pasted Neath. They beat 49-14.
49.
Yeah, 49-14 they beat. So, but yeah, they were on Saturday. There were quite a few players in that Carmarthen Quins side from the Scarlets Academy, and Scarlets players, ex-Scarlets players, and things like that. So they really should be doing better than that against Pontypool. A side that played Championship rugby last year. Didn't recruit massive amounts of players. I think they recruited a couple of quality to kind of top up, but Quins should be doing a load better than that. I'm sorry, boys, it's not acceptable. Take your telling and sort yourselves out. Lee's told you, sort yourselves out. It's not acceptable. And here endeth the lesson.
Or he won't want you in the west of West Wales anymore.
I still get messages about that sodding map and whether or not St Clair's and Larne are east or west of West Wales. And don't even get me started on sodding Abereiron, because depending on which way you have the map, depends on where north and east and south.
The whole point of maps is it doesn't matter which way you hold it.
It's just, I give up.
I don't know why you posted that. There was just something I threw to say, I want these teams for me and I want these ones for you. I was never supposed to go public. I
was trying to help people to understand how we'd carved things up. And I said there's no rationale to this. It's just, this is how we've done it. And one guy sent me bloody map coordinates to prove who was further east. There's one team, I think it's Abereiron, is further. No, it's Aberystwyth, isn't it? It's further east than some of the teams that we've got. Yeah, and I'm like,
but if you go any further west, if you go any further west than Aberystwyth, you're in the sea.
Yeah, so that's as west as it gets.
We go by proximity to the coast. That's what we went.
If you can sniff the sea, then you're in the west.
But what if you can sniff the Southern Sea? That's the problem.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think that one through, did I?
Because Tenby's sea is to the east. Anyway, never mind.
It's not, because Tenby's got 2 beaches that they pretend is 5, but it's not. It's 2, and the North Beach, the North Beach is the one to the east, and the South Beach faces west. So the North Beach faces south, and the South Beach faces west. Don't even start trying to explain that to Tenby people, because it's. I'm trying to say that Castle Beach is a separate beach to
Is that what
the rest of
is that
South
what
Beach.
Pete Townsend was writing about in Substitute, where he goes, the north side of my town faced east and the east was facing south. Is it about Tenby?
Probably, yeah. He was pissed one weekend, and someone was trying to
I'm
explain
going to
to
write
him
a song about Tenby.
yeah. Anyway,
Why not?
let's discuss. Let's North Beach, right? I used to live on top. I used to live on top of North Beach, and the sun rises on the horizon off North Beach. The sun rises in the east. North Beach looks east. Damn it, people! I don't know why it's called North Beach. It just fucking well is. Right, let's talk. Let's talk Wales, Georgia, and the World Cup in the south of France. Southwest France, honest.
That's right.
So, team was put out on Monday. What do you make of it? Fairly strong team, fairly. I mean, it's got to be a hefty win for Wales. But why put out a strong team like that against Georgia? What's your thinking?
Well, my first thinking is I was expecting Johnny Williams in it. I'm a little bit disappointed, for not seeing him in that team. But on the other side, we know now that he's probably not going to play another game until that Farcical Barbars match on the same day as the Cardiff game. So hopefully that means he's going to be nice and fresh and come straight back in. I'm looking at this purely from a Scarlets point of view right now, and no Elias, no Johnny Williams, Cowdo, Gareth Davis, and Sam Costello on the bench. I'm happy with that. Our boys are getting some energy left in their legs. I'm really proud of that. As a whole team, I expected us to go pretty strong for this one. There's a couple of positions I probably would have gone differently. Like I would have probably left Reece Zammit out instead of Josh Adams, because Zammit has played all 3 games so far. Just little niggles like that. I would have rather Costello be in at starting at 10, just because we know what Anscombe does, and we know what game plan we're going to go for when we have Biggar or Anscombe in at 10. We should have that different option. Like Anscombe is a massively different player than what he was 4 or 5 years ago. He doesn't seem to have that attacking flair that was his pull as such back then. And if we come unstuck, like if Argentina, well, we don't even know who we're facing yet. Could be Argentina, could be Japan. If we play Argentina and they manage to turn up, we don't have a plan B. That's our biggest problem.
Hugh, what do you make of the team, mate?
Yeah, I think Gats is thinking about putting Anscombe in for the quarter final, having Biggar on the bench, because we know that was Gats' favourite thing back in 2019. And Gats has come out and said that the only time that he wished a player wasn't injured was in 2019 when Anscombe was injured, because he thought that if Anscombe had played in the semi-final against South Africa, we would have won. Now, whether people agree with that or not is up to them, but that's an example of how much Gats rates Anscombe. And I wouldn't necessarily be against it. I think the best Wales have ever played is with Anscombe starting and Biggar coming off the bench. Who can forget the game against England, where that was so effective? I like Davis and Costello being together on the bench. I'm a big believer in combinations, and you got Williams and Anscombe starting together. They obviously have a pre-existing relationship. and you've got Davis and Costello coming off the bench, and they've obviously got a relationship. I just hope that Sam gets some decent minutes. I don't, because he's been unfortunate in his Wales career so far that he gets like junk minutes in games that are tight, so it can really only go wrong for him. He hasn't got a chance to show what he can do. So if he's going to come off the bench, I want him to come off on 50, 60 minutes, so he's got some time, and hopefully the game is comfortable by then, so he can have an impact. I don't want him coming on with 2 minutes to go and we're defending on our own try line. That's kind of what has happened to him, obviously, because he was on the pitch last year when we lost to Georgia. That's what happened. So apart from that, he's playing Faletau because Faletau needs minutes. Jack Morgan's rested. I'm good with that. Adam Beard is rested. I'm good with that. Big moment for Dewey Lake for me. He's got to snatch the impetus.
You said Dewey again, didn't you?
I can't deal with it.
Move on. It's a big moment for Lake. He's got to snatch the impetus back, because he's gone from the next big thing to third choice really quick. And so I don't think anyone was expecting that. So he's got an opportunity in this game, in what's going to be a physical game, to say, no, I am still the guy and I am going to be the guy, which I hope he does. Other than that, yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that Sanjay is playing. I would have thought, because Gatland made such a big deal about the durability of Sanjay and Halfpenny, that I thought they would be switched. And we've seen that Sanjay doesn't need games. It doesn't need to be playing regularly. He can come in for 2 weeks and then go out for 6 months and then come back for 2 more weeks. He doesn't need that repetition of games, which probably means that Lee Halfpenny might have played his last game for Wales, would have been against Portugal. Which is a little bit sad, but I don't think it was going to make us play worse having Liam Williams in there, so that's fine. Yeah, obviously an all Ospreys front row, so that'll be the Ospreys fans happy that they've got the excuses for the start of the season. The players are all tired. Yeah, apart from that, it's a reasonably strong team with the rotations that I would have rotated. So cool.
So what I've been reading, rightly or wrongly, this week is, so Gareth Davis hasn't trained so far this week, and Costello has filled in at scrum half. So
I think that's just a continuation of a joke that started, when the actual 33 was named.
Yeah,
but,
and they only named. They only named the two scrum halves, and I have found it odd up until now that Gareth Davis did get a bit of a battering against Fiji. And if I was him, I'd be going, I don't fancy doing that every week. Thank you very much, sir. But yeah, I don't know if I was Costello and he turned around and he says, Gareth Davis is injured. So guess what? You're covering 9 and 10. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I think he's a good enough player to do it. But But the one player that I am surprised is still on the pitch and still in one piece, in all honesty, is Nick Tompkins, because the amount of times that he takes. I mean, we used to call it a sucker ball, where your inside centre kind of stops running and encourages a defender onto him and offloads right at the last minute for a fullback or the other centre to come through the gap that's created. I mean, he got absolutely battered by Fiji, left, right, and centre. He got hit. You look at Fiji's defensive reel after, and nearly all of them involve Tompkins going arseways by about 6 foot. He comes. I think he play in the other. Which game did he sit out? Did he sit out Portugal?
Yeah. Johnny Williams was in for that and didn't exactly cover himself in glory. Yeah.
So and now we were going to go back in against Georgia, who are not renowned for their gentle tackling in midfield either. Do you know what I mean? So
I think he's made it his thing, though. I think soccer ball is Tompkins one of his USPs. Like, do you remember the try in Twickenham when right off the kickoff and Justin Tippett goes the length? Tompkins gets one of those off Tuilagi. So Tuilagi is a classic Hollywood defender. He like, I'm going to bat him, and then he smacks him down and does absolutely nothing to stop the attack and the opposition go. It was the same in the Premiership final. Tuilagi does a hit like that. Faz sees him coming and goes, ooh, gets hit by him, and the player runs where Tuilagi was stood and goes under the sticks. So he's obviously just made it like, this is going to be my thing. I'm going to draw players in and get smashed. I suppose if you go limp, maybe it doesn't hurt so much.
Yeah, I don't know where it originally came from, but it's on the BBC website, an interview with Tompkins saying, yeah, he loves getting smashed. He's happy to do it. So it takes a proper nutter to take that sort of thing on. I think you said something like, well, I'm not quite as big as Bundyaki, but I'll take every hit harder than him or something. It's just lovely. But I mean, lovely little comments like that.
Yeah, he's having a cracking World Cup, but just keeping him in one piece would be nice. And good to see Reffel on the pitch as well. I rate him really highly, and I Reffel and Jack Morgan together in the back row is, mark my words, that's where we're going to find our success in the future. Having a 77 back row that just wrecks every attack that comes their way, and just destroys people. That's the way forward, gents. That's the way forward. So
the Scarlet way is having a 2-7, isn't it? Sean Evans doing that same.
Yeah, in a hooker. Yeah, 777. Then we'd have to fight. Yeah, imagine if Sean Evans made it to the national side at hooker, and you'd have 3 7s on the pitch. That will be a thing of beauty for a back row player. I could sit there and watch that all day long and go, yes, thank you very much. Anyway, we're nearly at the end of tonight's little journey through our rugby week, gents. We have simply got score predictions for the Wales-Georgia game left to do. So I can see the enjoyment on Martin's face there, mate. It's either that or the drugs have kicked in and Nursey's about to come and take him to bed. So what's your prediction, Matt?
Oh, Georgia are not the same team that done us over last year in the autumn. So I'll go 31-12 in our favour.
Okay. Hugh?
Yeah, I can see that Georgia defeat last year becoming a bit like the 2007 Fiji defeat, where we've beaten Fiji at every World Cup since, and we beat them about 10 times in a row. But every time we play them, we go, oh, but do you remember we lost in 2007? So I can imagine the Georgia one being that from now on, like we mostly beat them, but they go, oh, do you remember that time we lost to them, though? So, yeah, my worry with Georgia is that they've got a big performance in them, because I think they and Samoa will be the 2 teams on this World Cup who look back on the pool stage and think, how has it gone like this? Because I maintain, and I look a lot smarter now than I did when I said it the first time, that if Georgia played Australia again, Georgia would win. They obviously got the draw against Portugal, which they must be absolutely fuming at themselves with, and then gave Fiji a half of rugby, and then not so much at the end of the game. So they'll be looking back on this pool stage and going, how are we staring down the barrel of finishing the World Cup without a win? So that's the kind of thing that will be in their head, is we ain't going home without a win. Whereas Wales won't be, we just won't be in that emotional place because we're already through. So I can see it being another one of those games where we never look like we're going to lose, but it's not a good watch. Because I just don't think emotionally we're going to be up for it, unless we're relying on Georgia rolling over. Because I was listening to rap this morning, Lee, and apparently they got loads of injuries. Yeah.
So we spoke to Francisco Isaac, who knows his stuff about rugby in that part of the world, and is actually a really nice guy to talk to. Don't get him onto politics, In fact, we didn't try to get him onto politics, and he worked his way around to politics. And he'd had a long old day because he'd had a flight and all that kind of stuff. And then he got into politics, and he kind of woke himself up and go, all right, somebody's having this, and he's a twat, and he's a bastard, and all of this kind of stuff. And it was really good fun to watch. So yeah, but he said, yeah, there's a lot of issues in the background in Georgian rugby as well that we probably don't give enough credit to, politically and socially in the country. Being right on the border with Russia is apparently unsettling a lot of stuff in Georgia at the minute. And it's it's affecting everything in the country, including financing the rugby game. So a lot of those players are literally playing for a contract. They're playing for, can I get a contract somewhere? Can I do something? Say it is their last chance. So yeah, I can see them coming and throwing everything at that game. I can see them really giving a really good account of themselves. And yeah, I hope a couple of those players do get contracts in other parts of the world where they can just be happy and safe, and their families can walk around and go to the shop without worrying if they're going to make it home, sort of a thing. So yeah, I can see Wales winning. I can't see us not winning that, but I agree with you, Hugh. I think it's going to be they're going to give us a shock to start with. I think they're just going to come out with all guns blazing and go nuts for the first kind of 10-15 minutes, and then we'll edge our way back in. We'll take our kicks because it's not a pre-season friendly, so we will take our kicks appropriately, and we will. Yeah, there's no dragons they kick in, so we'll be all right. But yeah, I can see comfortable win by 20 odd points, 35-15. But yeah, first 10 minutes. I think you are.
Same as the Australia game, Australia-Georgia.
Yeah. Well, I can see them giving us a nasty shock of those first 10 minutes. Watch for the first 10 minutes and then put Strictly on. Oh no, it's the afternoon game, isn't it? It's 1 o'clock, so there's no issues with Strictly.
2 o'clock.
2, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. On that note, then, gents, we're done for another evening. We are. What was it? Oh, well, that's the bit I was going to say. For those that don't know, so we are we're the original part of the Rap family. We're the godfathers of the Rap family because we were the first pod there. But for those of you that might be listening from other regions, we now have so we've got the Rap podcast, which is all 4 regions in one place. Obviously, there's ourselves, there's an Ospreys, there's Dragons, a Cardiff one, and this week we launched our Welsh language one. And I've got to say, I listened to our Welsh language one, and so I don't speak Welsh. I can only understand bits of it. The guys are really, really good on it. Honestly, they're really, really good. I was surprised. I watch rugby on S4C with Welsh commentary, so I can kind of pick a few bits up, but you just get a better sense of the game on S4C, I find. Or maybe it's the language, because you can just tell from the way the guys are talking that they're enjoying it. So yeah, if you are a Welsh speaker, do give our podcast Rugby Cymru podcast a listen, because it's well worthwhile. Yeah, actually, it only needs the one podcast at the front, doesn't it? Podcast Rugby Cymru. Give Podcast Rugby Cymru a listen. There we go, because it's really good stuff. There we go. Right. On that note, then, gents, we are done for the evening, and I shall bid you farewell. I shall see you next week, and hopefully with a couple of more victories under the bag, and I will be able to find an excuse to watch the semi-final if we make it, without my wife divorcing me when we go to Cardiff. Anyway, Jess, have a good one. I'll see you next week. All the best.
Cheers, boys.
All the best.